Before we get into today's video, I want to say that there is going to be some strong opinions on what we're going to talk about today. All opinions are valid, but what I want is opinions based on fact and experience, not based on Facebook or what you saw online from The Sun. Anything like that, please don't post it, because in this case, I might actually just delete them all because I can't be bothered with that. What I'm going to talk about today is something that's fascinated me since I've got to Malaysia. It's absolutely fascinating. And it's the fact that religion in Malaysia gets on. And I'm not used to this. You know, I've been subject to living in the UK for 43 years. And what I thought I knew about religion doesn't seem to be the case. Opinions change from country to country. So my opinions are based on what it's like in Malaysia and what it's like in the UK. And because me and my wife have both been fascinated by this, we've actually been to a mosque to have a look, and we've been to a Buddhist temple. Now, we do have Buddhist temples in the UK, especially there's two actually in Cumbria. Well, that's actually not true. One was in the borders, one was in South Cumbria. And my wife does like to follow the Buddhist principles. So what have I discovered since being in Malaysia? Well, firstly, it's not technically a Muslim country. I've had comments on here saying, don't go to a Muslim country, scaremongering, and I don't believe that, you know, those comments are as valid as people in the UK think they are. Malaysia is a secular country. And what that means is that there's many, many religions, and all of them are integrated. And all of them are inclusive. So they allow, other forms of religion there. And this has really fascinated me. It really has. Because we've been to a mosque, and we talked to some people in that mosque. And they explained Islam and how it's based on peace and acceptance of other religions. That's actually written, weirdly. And it's the same for the Buddhist temple. They're based on exactly the same thing. So in terms of religions, they accept each other. I'm an atheist. I've never ever been religious. And my thought pattern has always been that, well, religion causes violence, and it has done for thousands of years. So religion if we didn't have religion, we wouldn't have violence or problems and since coming to Malaysia, I've questioned that now, because a lot of what I thought I knew about other religions was based on, media and how other religions are seen in the UK from a Christian background. And now I'm thinking that my original thought pattern is wrong. And I'm quite happy to admit if I'm wrong. But I don't know. Is it based on the country you're in? I don't know. But I had a look at the history of Malaysia and its religions. And Islam came to Malaysia over thousands of years, and it's slowly integrated through travel and trade. And that's completely different to the way that sort of Islam is viewed in the UK. Because it's only been in the UK for a short time. And as a religion, it feels threatened because it's a minority. And I'm beginning to realise that the UK as a whole is probably less tolerant of those religions. And a lot of what I've heard about these religions have been based on, media reports and hearing bad things about terrorism and, various other acts of violence. So that's what I've based my opinions on. And after coming to Malaysia and seeing and actually going to speak to these people, Malaysia is a fantastically diverse country. It is... people really do live on the principle of how can I help somebody else? How can I be a good person? That's their principles. They have very little violence. We've spoken to a lot of taxi drivers about this, and they are Muslim. The majority of them are, and their outlook on life it's kind of the outlook that we're trying to get. It's based on peacefulness, helping people, enjoying life, and it's not based on chasing money. None of these taxi drivers have been kind of talking about owning things or chasing money. They're based on how can I be happy? Is my family happy? And that's what's been fascinating for me, because all I've heard about Islam as a religion from a UK point of view is how bad it is. I've never seen the good bits. So this, I think, is going to be a controversial video, because people in the UK, I think, have got a skewed kind of version of Islam. And what I'm finding over here is it is peaceful, it is calm. In terms of the secular way that Malaysia works, it's fantastically peaceful. Imagine everybody in the UK doing the same thing, and all the religions getting on, and nobody fighting. I can't get my head around it, because I've been so long in this other mindset, which is why I'm so fascinated by it. So, like I said, these are my opinions from what I've seen from travelling. I suppose you've got to bear in mind that in all religions, you're going to have extremists on one end, and then the more sort of widespread version on the other end. You're going to get Christian extremists, you're going to get Islamic extremists, you're going to get Buddhist extremists. You know, it's just, that's life, that's human nature. But what the overriding thing I'm feeling from being in Malaysia is that it is an incredibly peaceful place, because of the thousands of years of that acceptance of other religions and how secular it is. So go and have a look. We're going to visit a mosque next, and then we move on to the Buddhist temple. Enjoy. Please keep the comments, nice if you can. And hopefully I'll see you in another video. So one thing we wanted to do was to learn a bit more about other religions, things like that. So we've come into a mosque just to see what it's like. So I'm wearing shorts, so I've had to put some a shawl around my legs, and Carrie has had to put the headdress thing on. It's just interesting. They're very welcoming. It's good to see different cultures, and we want to teach the kids about different cultures. So this is one of the things we're doing just to see what it's like. So here we go. There they are. There's my wife in a little hoodie thing there. There's people at prayer in there. We're just walking along the corridor. This is outside here. And it's just interesting to see other religions, what they do, how they do it, and how it's different to, how we live in the UK. This is part of it. This is part of travel. You have to, live a bit like some of the locals do, and this is very interesting. So just imagine you coming here sort of 5 times a day. Some people do. This is the culture. So it feels a very peaceful atmosphere. So there we go. That's the inside of a mosque in Georgetown in Penang. So going to that mosque was super interesting. That is Islam religion, and their religion basically says, we do our religion, you do your religion. So they're really
they're lenient. You know, they're not forcing you into anything, and they really, you know, they just get on with other religions. So I think that the UK can learn a lot from here, because they just get on, and I've said that in other videos. All the religions, they just get on. You know, we're not religious at all. We never have been. Our families aren't. But we've ended up in a mosque to go and have a look, and they're quite happy to show you what's going on, how it works, and they're super tolerant. So I think we can all learn a lot from this, especially people that are all, like, they're really worried about religion all the time. They say you can't go to that country because this and that's going to happen. That's just not true. And here we go. Here's one of the decorated streets for New Year, Chinese New Year. So I suppose this part is the bit you would call the touristy part, because there's lots of kind of Penang gifts, you know, t-shirts, that kind of thing. Super chill vibe here, it really is. It's just, you do what you want, we'll work around you, you enjoy yourself. But again, we're a bit mad for coming out in the middle of the day. It's about 2:30 now, and it is hot. But I'm actually quite enjoying the heat, because I'm just not used to it, and we're all getting used to it now, and I'm just enjoying having only a few clothes. I really am. Carrying on our religious theme, we're going to go into a Buddhist temple next, because this is the kind of thing that my wife really enjoys, and this is what she really likes to follow. So we're going to go have a look in here. I'll show you around this one as well, and we'll see how peaceful it is in there. Very peaceful. Really peaceful. And this is a nice bit of solitude away from the crowds outside. There's not that many people in here. We actually had a couple of Buddhist temples near where we... Okay, thank you. We had a couple of temples where we were, one at Ulverston, and there's one in the borders of Scotland where we lived. And it was, we've been to both of those, and again, there's this very peaceful, kind of calming kind of atmosphere. So, this is what we like. It's got bonsai trees here. I love bonsai trees. I have created several of my own. Here we go, look at these. Like that. in this room in the temple we have a load of sort of memorabilia from the British kind of occupation of Malaysia. So we've got like a Woodstock typewriter, press of some kind, clock, desks, Olympia typewriter there, a classic Singer sewing machine. I mean, I've had several of those. A national TV. Then we've got, there you go, you might recognise this person. A load of old electricals, car stereo, automatic radios, some filming equipment. Very interesting. See that very, very calm, serene place compared to the bustle of outside. I quite admire the Buddhist religion just for their, you know, their peacefulness, and some of the stories about how, you know, monks have sat in contemplation for sort of weeks. I can't sit still for 5 minutes. So yeah, very, very interesting. So that's one of the second religions that's in Malaysia. Again, it's a religion that's very tolerant of others, and they're very welcoming. So there we go, bit of a Buddhist temple in Malaysia. There's also another religion like there is in Malaysia. There's Hindu. At the moment we're at the top of Penang Hill, and there's a temple up here, Hindu temple. So this is really busy at this time because it's like the end of the holidays or beginning of the holidays, I'm not entirely sure which, and a lot of people are coming up here to see the temples. So here we go, this is a really ornate Hindu temple.
Oh, Darwin can see that.
Here we have just one of the Indian gods here. There's also a playground, and there's lots of things, a canopy walk we're going to do up here. But again, Malaysia is a secular country, and there's just so many different religions. Thank you for watching.